In a world that constantly demands our attention, where the loudest voices often dominate the room and aggression is frequently mistaken for authority, there exists a rare group of individuals who navigate the chaos with an unsettling sense of calm. You have likely met them. They are the peacemakers, the patient listeners, the ones who offer a gentle smile when everyone else is raising their voice. Society looks at these individuals and quickly labels them as merely nice, sweet, or perhaps even soft. But what if this profound gentleness is not a sign of surrender at all? What if the warmth they radiate is a carefully constructed layer, a beautifully designed exterior that serves a purpose far more complex than simple politeness? Today, we journey into the hidden depths of the rarest personality among us. We are going to explore the quiet strength of those who observe more than they speak, and we will uncover how their seemingly simple kindness is, in reality, a masterful mask hiding an extraordinary and resilient power. To truly understand this quiet power, we must first dismantle the illusion of softness. Throughout history, the most enduring monuments and the strongest foundations were not built overnight with loud explosions, but with quiet, meticulous, and patient craftsmanship. Similarly, the deep emotional intelligence of these individuals is built upon a foundation of profound awareness. They do not lead with their vulnerability because they are weak. They lead with warmth because it is the most effective way to engage with a fractured world. This warmth is not a fabrication. It is an authentic part of their soul. However, it also acts as a brilliant survival mechanism. By presenting a calm and agreeable front, they disarm the ego of those around them. They lower the defenses of the room, creating an environment where others feel safe enough to reveal their true intentions. It is a quiet strategy, a way to navigate through the complex web of human interactions without getting entangled in unnecessary conflicts. Let us delve into the first profound layer of this mask, which is their chameleon-like empathy. Imagine an individual who can walk into a crowded room, instantly read the emotional temperature, and seamlessly adapt their own energy to match the environment. If the atmosphere is tense and angry, they become a wellspring of calm. If someone is grieving, their presence softens into a comforting embrace. If there is joy, they reflect that joy just enough to harmonize with the group. Many mistake this adaptability for a lack of identity. People assume that because this person is so agreeable, they must not have strong convictions of their own. This is a monumental underestimation. This emotional shape-shifting is a highly advanced skill. It is the art of blending in not to lose oneself, but to gain access to the unseen truths of others. By mirroring the emotions of those around them, they learn. They watch how people operate when they believe they are in total control. This capacity for profound empathy can feel almost magical to those who experience it. You might sit down with this quiet observer, and within mere minutes, you feel completely understood, as if they have looked right through to your core. This is not an accident. It is the result of years spent studying microexpressions, shifts in tone, and the silent language of human energy. But beneath this comforting interaction lies a powerful element of quiet control. While they are actively reflecting your emotions and making you feel safe, their mind is rapidly building a comprehensive map of who you are. They are cataloging your fears, your desires, your insecurities, and your hidden motivations. They use their empathy not just to comfort, but to observe and to understand the psychological architecture of the person in front of them. The niceness is the key that unlocks the door to your inner world, allowing them to gather vital information while remaining completely undetected. We must also recognize the monumental effort it takes to protect their own deeply complex inner world. Behind the gentle smile and the polite nods, there is an entire universe of intense thoughts, vivid dreams, and heavy emotional burdens. They rarely share this inner sanctuary with anyone. Even those who consider themselves closest to these individuals often only see a fraction of their true depth. This is not born out of a desire to deceive, but out of a desperate need to protect. They feel everything so deeply, so intensely, that the world can often feel like a sensory and emotional overload. Over time, they have learned that not everyone is equipped to handle, or worthy of, the heavy burden of their truest self. Therefore, the mask of kindness acts as a beautiful, impenetrable fortress. It keeps people comfortable and engaged, but firmly at a safe distance. It is a boundary drawn in watercolor, appearing soft but acting as an unbreakable shield against emotional carelessness. This dynamic creates a fascinating duality. On the outside, they are the anchor for others. They are the ones who will listen to your deepest sorrows for hours, offering support, wisdom, and an unwavering presence. Yet simultaneously, they may be grappling with immense internal conflict, profound sadness, or existential contemplation, none of which they will allow to reach the surface. Trust for them is not handed out freely. It is a sacred currency earned over a long period of time through consistent, safe behavior. If they were to lower this mask with the wrong person, the emotional damage could be catastrophic. Because they read the emotional currents so accurately, they know precisely who is careless with feelings and who is safe. The polite, agreeable version of themselves is offered to the world as a peace offering, while the raw, authentic, and powerful version is kept safely locked away. This ability to withhold, to remain steady, while others pour out their souls, is a masterful display of self-control. Moving deeper, we encounter the strategic power of silence. In modern society, we are conditioned to believe that the one who speaks the most holds the most power. We rush to fill awkward pauses with meaningless chatter, terrified of the quiet. But these rare individuals possess a different kind of strength. They do not speak simply to add to the noise. They speak less because they are actively listening, and in that listening, they find their ultimate advantage. While others are busy debating, interrupting, and fighting for the spotlight, the quiet observer sits back. They absorb the tone of voice. They analyze the subtle shifts in body language. And they catch the glaring contradictions in people's stories that everyone else completely misses. By the time they finally decide to open their mouths, they have already assembled a complete puzzle of the situation. Their silence is not a void. It is a highly active, heavily concentrated state of tactical processing. This disciplined silence grants them a mysterious aura. By intentionally withholding their immediate reactions and thoughts, they keep the people around them guessing. Human nature is naturally drawn to the unknown, and this curiosity creates a magnetic pull. It creates a pause in the room, a moment where others naturally lean in, waiting to hear what the quiet person has to say. When they finally speak, their words do not just add to the conversation. They cut through the noise with laser-like precision. Their insights are heavy, calculated, and often profound enough to completely shift the trajectory of a discussion. This emotional discipline prevents them from reacting impulsively during tense moments. While others lose their composure to anger or frustration, the quiet observer remains an unshakable mountain. They feel the anger, they feel the tension, but they process it internally, choosing to respond only when their words will have the maximum possible impact. This is the epitome of strategic influence. There is another layer to this personality that is rarely spoken about, and that is their dark side compassion. Because they are so inherently gentle and accommodating, people often make the fatal mistake of assuming they are harmless or incapable of aggression. But there is a sharp, unyielding edge hidden just beneath that soft exterior. These individuals abhor unnecessary conflict, but they are fiercely protective of their core values, their inner peace, and the people they love. When a line is crossed, particularly when it involves manipulation, deceit, or emotional abuse, the transformation is instantaneous and breathtaking. The warm, accommodating friend disappears, replaced by an unshakable, cold, and razor-sharp defender. They do not need to raise their voice or create a dramatic scene to assert dominance. Their power lies in their terrifying clarity. Because they have spent so much time observing and understanding you, they know exactly where your vulnerabilities lie. When pushed to the brink, they will draw a boundary with such absolute calm force that it leaves the aggressor stunned. They will articulate the truth of a situation with surgical precision, stripping away all lies and excuses. This dark compassion is not driven by a petty desire for revenge. It is driven by a deep, uncompromising commitment to justice and emotional safety. If they sense toxicity, they will act to eradicate it from their space. What shocks people the most is how unexpectedly this happens. The aggressor, lulled into a false sense of security by the mask of niceness, never sees the blade coming. This is why their kindness must never be mistaken for weakness. They are always keeping track. They remember how people behave when they think no one is watching. They note every slight, every lie, and every manipulation. And when the evidence becomes too heavy, they simply cut the cord. They can deliver words that shatter illusions without ever losing their serene composure. We must also examine their quiet idealism, a trait that shapes everything they do. They hold a vivid vision of a better, more authentic, and deeply connected world. However, unlike the loud activists who demand immediate compliance, these quiet idealists understand the immense power of the long game. They are the water that slowly shapes the stone. They know that yelling at people rarely changes their hearts. Instead, they utilize their calm demeanor as a powerful tool for transformation. By creating spaces where people feel entirely safe and free from judgment, they encourage others to lower their guards. Once that trust is established, the quiet idealist begins to plant seeds. They do not give orders. They ask the exact right question at the exact right moment. They gently guide people to see new perspectives, allowing them to believe that the profound realization was their own idea all along. This subtle, almost invisible influence is remarkably potent because it bypasses human defensiveness. Their idealism is not merely confined to grand, sweeping visions of the future. It is a philosophy that dictates their everyday existence. It is in the way they patiently handle stress, the way they treat the invisible workers of society, and the way they show up for a friend in the darkest hours of the night. Their seemingly simple kindness is rooted in an unshakable belief that humanity is capable of grace. But do not mistake this patience for endless tolerance. When they believe deeply in a cause or a principle, their grip is like iron. They will not resort to screaming matches, but they will never, ever back down. They will continuously show up, gracefully making their point, holding the line until the environment shifts around them. Many people underestimate this slow, steady pressure. But over the years, the quiet consistency of these individuals moves mountains. People remember the dignity they felt in their presence, and that memory alone is enough to inspire lasting change. Finally, we reach the ultimate layer of the mask, which is niceness as a gateway, a rigorous test for trust. The warm smiles, the polite inquiries, the helpful gestures, all of these are entirely genuine, but they also serve as a highly effective filter. Because they have profound depth, they have also experienced profound pain. They know the agonizing cost of trusting the wrong soul. Therefore, they offer their politeness to the world, giving just enough to maintain harmony, but never enough to expose their vital organs. This niceness is a silent examination. They watch how you respond to their kindness. Do you take it for granted? Do you view it as an opportunity to exploit them? Do you remain comfortably on the shallow surface? Or do you take the time to ask them how they are truly doing? They are quietly noting every answer, evaluating whether you have the integrity and the depth required to enter their inner sanctuary. For the rare few who pass this silent test, a breathtaking transformation occurs. The protective mask dissolves, and the quiet, polite observer opens the gates to a world of staggering intellectual and emotional depth. They begin to share their true philosophies, their dark humors, their profound fears, and their fierce loyalties. This sudden revelation of strength and complexity often leaves people entirely spellbound. They realize that the polite person they thought they knew was merely the lobby of a magnificent, sprawling castle. Earning this level of trust feels like discovering a hidden treasure in a world of superficial interactions. Because they are so highly selective, the connections they do forge are built to withstand the harshest storms of life. They do not desire 1,000 shallow acquaintances. They desire a handful of souls with whom they can merge completely. And once they trust you, their kindness transcends mere politeness. It becomes an impenetrable shield of loyalty that will protect you at all costs. Conversely, for those who fail the test, for those who reveal themselves to be manipulative, selfish, or entirely superficial, the mask of niceness is the only thing they will ever see. The quiet observer will not waste their precious energy arguing or attempting to fix a broken character. They will simply engage their ultimate defense mechanism. They will quietly, cleanly, and completely disappear from that person's life. They will slowly withdraw their energy, turning the warm connection into a polite, sterile void. This is the danger of misunderstanding the mask. If you assume their kindness is a weakness to be exploited, you will quickly find yourself standing outside the fortress walls, utterly confused as to how the drawbridge was raised without making a single sound. They know their intrinsic value, they are intimately aware of their power, and they fiercely guard their peace against those who come to take rather than to share. As we step back and look at the complete picture, the truth becomes undeniably clear. The kindness, the silence, the gentle adaptability, these are not the traits of the frail. They are the sophisticated instruments of an architect of the human soul. They allow these rare individuals to walk through a loud, chaotic, and often harsh world without losing their essence. Their niceness buys them the most valuable resource of all, which is time. Time to read the room, time to protect their peace, and time to calculate their next profound move. Power does not always have to shout to be heard. It does not always have to break things to leave a mark. True power is having the emotional discipline to observe when others react, to stay silent when others scream, and to smile warmly while holding back the force of an entire storm. If you are one of these quiet souls, never apologize for your silence or your calculated kindness. It is the very source of your monumental strength.